I think it's time for another fountain pen shootout. And today we're going to have a look at the Visconti Breathe versus the Visconti Rembrandt. And I think if I hold them up side by side, you'll see exactly why I wanted to do that. So let's point the camera down. I'll show you the pens side by side. I'll do a writing sample with them side by side. Okay, so here we have the two pens that I wanted to check out today. I will zoom in a second, but let me just put a Lamy Safari right on top so you have an idea of the size. I have reviewed both of these pens separately, so there are full-blown reviews if you need more detail, but let me quickly blaze through them. The Visconti Breathe on top here comes in a bunch of very attractive finishes, and actually so does the Rembrandt. Now, I will say that the Rembrandt is more expensive. It's about 140 euros and the Breeze is 100 euros, so that does make a bit of a difference. But as you can see, they're very similar pens, and they're similar in a lot of ways. They look very similar with the big center band. Of course, there's the trademark Visconti clip, but even on top of the cap you see this sort of continuation of the clip, that metal dash. Both of them have a magnetic closure. The Breeze has, in my mind, the slight advantage that it has a section that matches the material of the barrel, which the Rembrandt does not, but both also have, as far as I can tell, the same nib, steel nib, in this case with two little circles indicating a medium. Now, I will say these two nibs are pretty different, and they perform rather differently from each other, but that's something I'll come back to. Both pens are cartridge-converter filled, so they take bottled ink as well as cartridges, which is kind of nice. And beyond that, as you can see, they're rather similar, right? In shape and in size, also in weight. They feel rather similar to me. So I thought that a shootout would be in order. Let's see if we can come up with a nice bit of writing. That is... Sorry, I wanted to give that paper a second to clear that because clearly the white balance was a little off there, but the camera has compensated. Let's start with the Rembrandt. Now, I want to urge you to pay particular attention to the sound this nib makes on the paper. Bear in mind, a camera microphone typically amplifies the sound of scratchiness a bit, but listen to this nib and then compare it to the Breeze nib. So here we have the Rembrandt with a fine nib just like the other one. My handwriting is horrid. I'm reaching around the tripod. I'm so sorry. Try to make a little bit more effort here. Currently this pen has Visconti Black in it. It's not the world's wettest writer. It is a medium nib, but in my mind this writes like a fine. I don't find that the performance of a medium nib, to be honest. In all, bit of feedback, but relatively smooth when you compare it to what's going on here. Now listen to this. I'll be honest, this is not my favorite nib. It is very feedbacky and I find it a little unpleasant. Also, even though this is a relatively light yellow ink, the Breeze medium nib strikes me as more medium than the Rembrandt medium nib. And that's interesting because both are the same nib. They have the same imprint, they are the same size. You would kind of expect that they would be the same, but they don't seem to be. One is more of a medium, the other is a basically fine labeled as a medium. So I am a little confused. But, of course, that may vary from pen to pen. The real question to me in a shootout like this is, which one would I pick? Now, I'll be entirely honest. Even though the Breeze has the minor nib issue, I can probably smooth that out. With a bit of micro mesh, it doesn't sound like it's a whole lot of work. I would pick the Breeze. I've owned a Rembrandt and I've sold it. The reason I would pick the Breeze is that I love these finishes. They are very vibrant. Nothing wrong with the Rembrandt finishes, but they are a bit more solid. As you can see when I rotate this, the Breeze has a nice bit of shading, I would almost say, to it. Nice bit of different, going from orange to yellow, etc., which I kind of like. But for me, what is very nice is the matching section on the Breeze. It matches and it's not metal. Metal can get a little slippery, typically doesn't really bother me, but if I would have to pick, I would pick this beautiful orange matching section. So, two pens side by side, one 40 euros cheaper than the other. I think both of these have merits for sure. The one thing I don't like so much about the Breeze is this metal band, which gets a little bit in the way of writing for me, but when I hold it really down to the front there and I post it especially to give me a bit more space, then I have no issues with that big center band on the barrel. So there you have it. A quick comparison between two interesting pens, two interesting Viscontis. They really like each other. That's because of the magnet in the cap. But they can't keep their hands off each other for some reason. I hope this was useful. A very kind thank you to Joost Appelboom for lending me both of these pens. And I'll gladly see you later. Bye bye.